Looking for a card with a little hidden magic? Today's pop-up slider card is just for you. Friends, you're going to have so much fun creating these. And let me tell you, when the recipient gets these cards, you're going to knock their socks off. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Connie Stewart with simplysimplestamping.com. I'm so glad you guys are here today to learn how to create these pop-up slider cards. They are going to be such a hit, I guarantee it. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video where I will share this week's Tuesday tip. Let's jump into today's cards. Now, the secret weapon to today's cards are the textured notes dies. Guys, these are fabulous dies. We're going to be using this one here, and that is what is going to create that amazing slider. All right, let's talk about the supplies we need to create the cards. I always supply you with a free download to go along with each video. So everything you need about today's cards are going to be right here. You're going to have the measurements. You're going to have a complete supply list, and you're going to have photos as well, because that way when you come back, you're going to know what cards these belong to. This right here, this is the QR code. You can either click or scan that code. It's going to bring you right back here to YouTube. So if you need a refresher when you come to make your cards, and you might, because there are some little secret scoring things I'm going to be sharing with you, click or scan here to come back and watch the video again. Friends, if you are in the United States, I would love to be your Stampin' Up demonstrator. If you click this graphic, or you can just use this link right here, it'll take you to my online store. This is where you can order everything I'm using on my cards today, and you'll be able to order those textured notes dies here as well. Thank you for your support of the channel through your orders. I truly appreciate that. With that, let's start with our first card. I'm going to start with a piece of cute as can be designer series paper. Now, friends, I have this cut at 4 inches by 10.5 inches, scored at 5.25 inch. That means you can get 3 of these cards out of 1 sheet of designer series paper. So I've just folded that in half. When you're cutting your designer series paper, make sure you're cutting it in the portrait mode, right? So we want to make sure our image is going this direction. Now, if your patterned paper, your DSP, doesn't have a specific pattern to it, no worries. You can do whatever you want. But this one, I definitely did not want my bees to be upside down. So 4 inches by 10.5, I've scored at 5.25. So one of the ways I found to kind of simplify this card is with a Post-it note. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a tick mark at the 1/2 inch mark of my Post-it. All right, just 1/2 inch. Now, let me go ahead and draw myself a straight line here. I'm going to use this over and over again, and I'm just going to create it the one time, but now I have my measurement. So there is the fold of my DSP, my designer series paper, and I'm going to take that Post-it. I'm going to line it up, the edge, of that mark that we made, that straight line. That's going to allow me to make sure I've got a 1/2 inch down here at the bottom. All right. So with that, let's bring in the dies. So the die that I'm using is a 2.25 by 3 3/4. Now I'm going to go ahead and open up my designer series paper. I'm going to lay that die, and I want it to just barely touch that Post-it note. All right. We're just going to line it up right there. I'm going to go ahead and look side to side and make sure I'm lined up side to side, and I want everything to be nice and straight. I'm going to bring in, I've got a couple pieces of painter's tape, works really well at holding my dies in place, because I really do not want those to move when I run these through my die cutting machine. Base plate 1, thin die adapter 2, cutting plate 3. I'm going to take my designer series paper, everything's stuck down. I verified everything's nice and straight. I'm going to kind of place it up here at the top of my my sandwich of my dies here. I'm going to take my next cutting plate, but can you see I want this cutting plate to come just off that die. All right. I'm just lining it up right there on the edge, because I don't want it to cut through and tear off the die. I want it to miss this last cut. So we're going to place it into our die cutting machine so that this end is out. So again, just taking one last second to make sure that's all good and lined up. I'm going to kind of hold it there. I can remove my Post-it note. I'm done with that. We can gently remove our packing tape, and we'll take that there from the inside. And now you can see our die, it's attached. All right, that's exactly what we need. We're going to do a little scoring. I'm going to use the scoring blade on my paper trimmer. And what we want to do, there is my cut. All right, it's right there. I'm going to line up this edge at 1¼ inch. Make sure your cutting blade's out of the way. And we're going to kind of line that up right here at the edge of our cut. And I'm going to give that a score right there in the middle. And that's going to give us the first score that we need. Okay, with that, we're going to flip this over, and I'm going to line up the edge of the top of the card so it's just barely off the track so that I can give that one a score. All right, so we've scored right here. That score is going to come right to the top. All right, one more. All right, and we're going to give that a score. So we've brought this one up, this one down, and then this last little one, it's going to go up. See, there's my little slider. All right, that's how that's going to work. We're now going to bring in a piece of Petunia Pop 4¼ by 5½, so a quarter sheet. And I'm going to adhere my card right on here. Now, again, I could use my Stampin' Seal. I can use multi-purpose glue, whichever one works best for you. And we're just going to adhere that to the center. We need to create a little notch for our pull. So I've got a 2-inch circle punch. Any circle punch will do. All right. Any size. I'm just going to bring that in. And I really just want to cut maybe about 1/3 of a circle. So you're going to want to make sure you kind of line that up from side to side. Make sure your designer series paper is straight on there and it hasn't shifted. So we'll just line that up. I'm going to give that a punch, and there's my little notch. All right. So I want you to just notice nothing on our card is adhered down yet. Okay. Now we're ready to start to add things here, all the secrets on the inside. So this little tab, right? Remember this one? This is going to be on the back side. I'm going to put just a little bit of multi-purpose glue. Don't go too crazy with it. Okay. I'm going to take a piece of Petunia Pop, and friends, this is a 3½ by 4¾ I'm going to line that up right there on the end of that Petunia Pop. I'm kind of lining it up from side to side. Okay. I'm going to lay that flat. This is why I like to use the multi-purpose glue, because it's a little forgiving if I need to move it around, and I see that I do, because I really do want it centered inside my card. I'm not as much concerned about it being centered down here because it's not going to show. All right. That's what's going to be going on there. So just remember, we don't want any Petunia Pop going beyond that little fold that we have, right? That little tab. Okay. That's number one. I'm now going to flip this down, and I'm going to put a piece of cardstock here. This is going to be a 3¼ by 3¼ basic white, and that's going to adhere up at the top. Let me kind of give you some visuals here so you can see. So my card will now slide like that. So that's where we're gonna either write a message or stamp a sentiment, whatever we want to do. So you can see that sitting right there. Let's go ahead and open up our card. And now this is the area that's going to be the area right here. Okay. Because you can see right now what we've got is designer series paper. So let's add a piece of basic white. And that is a 3¼ by 4¼ I kind of went all the way down to where the score line is. All right. But now, and I know I'm kind of having to hold it in place. Now you can kind of see that's where we're going to stamp. All right. So you can see it's time to adhere this card together. But I have another little secret tip for you today. So I have a petunia pop bow. When I was creating this card, I wanted to just add it right here on the slider. But you know what I ran into? The tails were getting in my way. So here's a little tip for you. I'm going to take my mini glue dots. I'm going to take my bow. That's the petunia pop bordered ribbon, by the way. I'm going to press the center of my bow onto a mini glue dot, and I can see there's the fold, and I want to come, oh, maybe about a quarter of an inch down from the fold. I don't want to go right in the middle. We're going to have a greeting here, so just a little bit down off the top. I'm going to take the tails and I'm going to tuck them underneath. I'm going to open this up, and you can use mini glue dots to adhere these down, or even just some scotch tape. No one's going to see. I think I'll just use some scotch tape. We'll just put that right there. No one's going to see that at all, but that is going to hold that little bow in place. I don't have to worry about those tails. They're nice. They're stuck down. Since we're talking ribbon, let's go ahead and add our pull tab ribbon to our card. So you can see there's our little notch. I have got one of the hole punches. This is from the hole punch assortment. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of make myself a little tick mark. Just kind of helps me there. And I'm going to take that hole punch and I'm going to center up that tick mark. We'll give that a punch. And now we're going to take our ribbon. I've got probably, I don't know, maybe 6 inches or so. I'm going to fold it in half. You're going to run it from the front to the back at that fold. Open that up. Take your tails, push them towards the back. There is our ribbon pull. We can go ahead and trim these down. We definitely don't need them that big. I know a lot of you prefer written instructions. I get that. You want to go check out my new YouTube membership where you can get the written instructions for every video I post all month long. And you'll find that over on my YouTube channel. Look for the join button and you can read all about it. We've got 3 tiers for you that you can choose from. And tier 3 is going to get you written tutorials for all the videos. Be sure to check that out because there are a lot of additional perks that come with the membership. We'd love to have you join. All right, so it's going to look something like that. All right, ready to do some stamping? All right, here we go. I ended up using 2 stamp sets for this card. So they are very matchy-matchy, and I like that. So I've got the Meant to Be and the Be My Valentine. I know it's not a Valentine's Day card, but there are some great sentiments in here. And so we're going to kind of be mixing and matching these together because they are kind of a great pair. So I'm going to bring in a Memento black ink pad and I'm going to stamp Cute as Can Be on a little square 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. I'm stamping mine at an angle. I just thought it might look adorable, right? Cute as can be. We're going to adhere that onto a square of petunia pop. Then we're going to adhere that onto a Daffodil Delight that is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. We're ready to add this to the front of our card. It's going to go on this panel. Remember, this is what's adhered down. We don't want to touch that one. So we're only going on this second panel. So we'll put adhesive there. And when you adhere this, you want to just come right off that little fold. Now, I want you to see it is kind of hanging off of there. It's going to cover that entire area. All right. Again, just so you can kind of see what we have going on. All right. Now comes the fun part. We are going to adhere our card together. We're going to come back in with the multi-purpose glue. Now, I've said less is more. That is definitely going to be the case here. So I'm going to flip this up and we're going to put adhesive. Do you see we have a wide area here? We're not going to work there. Let's work on this narrow area. And I'm going to keep this multi-purpose glue thin and right on that edge. Okay. I don't want to go crazy with it. I want to keep it really, really close to that edge and just a little bit. Now this area down here, if you want to add a little bit of glue down there, you can. All right. So I'm going to gently close that, flip it over. And now I'm just going to kind of make sure that my slider pull is out of the way. We're going to give that glue just just a few seconds here to dry. Give it a really good back rub because we really went thin with it. Remember, it was not terribly thick. So, all right, now it's time to test our slider. There we go. Now you notice it gave me a little trouble. The first time you go to pull it, it will. And just kind of, just like anything, you got to give it a little, it's got to get its little elbow grease. So, all right, it's working. Let's go ahead and open this up. We're going to stamp a little bit here in this area. I'm going to start with the petunia pop and this great flower. I'm going to add that right here. We'll add another one right there. The center of the flower is going to be dotted with a little daffodil delight. And we've got a great little stamp that'll just give that flower some great pop. Of course, it matches the flower there on the designer series paper. A little old olive for the leaves. And we can stamp a couple of leaves here. And again, up here at the top, I'm going to come back in with my Memento Black and I will stamp Love You. And then in Pretty in Pink, let's just add some pretty pink hearts. I don't know if you can see them, but this stamp is matching the hearts there in the designer series paper. Just stamp some there as well. Our card is done. You can see this is going to fit into a medium-sized envelope, no problem. It's easy for them to know what they need to do with that little pull tab there. So much fun. So you can write a little message here. You could maybe just sign your name there, whatever you want to do. If you really wanted to, you could add a piece of basic white here to the back and write a really great long message. But guys, this card is so much fun. Okay, let me show you one more. So this card was created with the Everyday Happiness Designer Series paper and the Mixed Labels stamp set. I'm so glad we're friends. Just a note to let you know you're on my mind. Guys, it goes together in the exact same way. All the measurements are the same. I've just changed the colors to Lost Lagoon, Wild Wheat, and I used that great Wild Wheat rustic ribbon. It was just beautiful with this, and I just loved, I love this paper. I hope that you liked that card. It has a lot more steps to it, right? Take your time, practice with copy paper. I always recommend you practice with copy paper. It's a great way to get the hang of a fun fold before you jump in. All right, friends, it's time for your Tuesday tip. Now, my tip today is working with your mini glue dots. I always had a problem that this paper wanted to kind of unwind or it was going every which way and it drove me crazy. And so what I discovered worked really well is I just take a piece of ribbon and simply tie it right around that paper of my mini glue dots. It holds it in place. And you may have noticed in the video how I just pulled it back and that exposed the next mini glue dot. It's awesome. And now, of course, when I'm ready for that, I can either take my ribbon, I can press it on, or use my take your pick tool to take that off. But it is so nice to always have that ribbon in holding all of that paper in place. No more worries. Fantastic tip. You notice I leave the tails pretty long because as I use this up and this paper goes down, I want to be able to tighten that ribbon as well. So remember to go save or print the free download that goes along with today's slider cards. Guys, you'll find this at simplysimplestamping.com, or if you look down in the YouTube description, I've got a direct link to today's post. Friends, if you like the video today and the Tuesday tip, give me a thumbs up on YouTube. I always appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribing to the channel is absolutely free. Click that black subscribe button. And if you ring the bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I'm back with another video. Guys, my videos are always free here on YouTube, and we'd love to have you be a subscriber. All right, guys, that's all for me. Have a fantastic day. We'll stamp with you next time. Bye-bye.